Hey guys, Future Editing Sam here. Couple things before the video starts. One, that is not going to be my normal setup. I just didn't feel like going upstairs to my room where I normally film. Also, audio quality might be a bit off. I forgot to use the mic, I forgot to use the mic that is on my earbuds. I forgot my earbuds entirely actually while filming this. There's definitely going to be some names that are mispronounced because they're all like Icelandic names and I'm American and uncultured. That being said, I still hope you guys enjoyed the video despite all the mistakes. Also, half the mistakes may have also been because it was 3:30 in the morning when I filmed and I hadn't gotten much or at all any sleep the day beforehand. So yeah, please try to enjoy the video despite all of its mistakes, and I will see you again in 2 weeks. Bye! Hello and welcome to the Mythology Chronicles. My name is Sam and today we'll be discussing the Norse figure Loki and how his appearances in the MCU and Magnus Chase Trilogy compare to the Norse myths. Just as a disclaimer, I realize that some of you may be pagan or polytheistic and believe in these deities, and if I say anything that is offensive, I didn't mean to be offensive. Just let me know in the comments so I can avoid doing that again in the future. I'll have definitions for any words pop up on the screen as they're mentioned, and at the end of the video there will be a glossary type thing flashing by. It might be quick, you might have to pause it if you miss something and you want to read it. Now let's start with some of the basic information about Loki. Loki is considered a trickster and has the ability to shapeshift and change sex. In fact, Loki's ability to change sex is shown in the case of Sleipnir, Odin's eight-legged horse, but we'll get to that later. He started out as a personification of hate, later becoming a devil or a demon. Despite being Jotun because of his parents, Loki is considered as part of the Aesir gods due to sharing blood with Odin. Loki was born to the Jotuns Farbati and Laufey. While represented as a companion to Odin and Thor, Loki constantly switches allegiance between the Aesir and the Jotun, depending on which benefits him the most at the time. It is said that at Ragnarok, Loki will join the Jotun side after breaking free from his bindings, one Old Norse poem even claiming that he will captain the ship that they come in on, the Naglfar. It is also said that at Ragnarok, Loki and Heimdall will end up mortally wounding each other. Although Loki is considered a god, there is no record of anybody worshipping him that has survived history. Let's come back to Sleipnir, Odin's eight-legged horse. Sleipnir actually came into existence as a result of delaying the walls of Asgard. The brick mason who built the walls wanted an unreasonably high price for his work: the sun, the moon, and the goddess Freya. It was Loki's idea to give the brick mason 6 months to work, to which all of the gods except for Freya, who was part of the deal, agreed to. When the brick mason and his stallion, Svadilfari, made significant progress before 6 months, Loki was threatened with death unless he could find a way to delay the mason's progress. Loki turned herself into a mare and seduced Svadilfari, taking him away from his master. The brick mason lost the bet, and Loki bore Sleipnir as a result of her union with Svadilfari. Not too long after the walls were built, Loki became discontent with his wife's vision, for reasons that I'm not really clear on if there are any. I couldn't find anything, so there might not be anything. This caused Loki to go to Jotunheim, where he gained the attention of the Jotun Angrboda. With the Jotun Angrboda, Loki fathered 3 children: Fenrir, or the Fenris wolf, Jormungand, and Hel. Those 3 children are also known as the 3 Chaos Monsters. Once Odin catches wind that Loki fathered these 3 Chaos Monsters, he has them brought to him. Odin then retained custody of Fenrir, who would later eat the hand of the god Tyr. Odin then threw Jormungand into the ocean and gave Hel dominion over Niflheim. Now, the death of Balder is probably one of the more well-known myths surrounding Loki, due to the consequences that Loki partly faces for it. After the death of Balder is prophesied, his mother, Frigg, got every living being in the world to promise to never hurt him. Well, almost every living being. Mistletoe was considered too small and too safe to worry about, so it was just overlooked. When Loki discovers this oversight, he makes the dart out of mistletoe and tricks Baldur's blind twin, Hod, into throwing it at his brother. Baldur is struck with the mistletoe dart and promptly dies. Hermod, another brother of Baldur, rides Sleipnir to the underworld and begs Hel to release him, and as he is beloved by all things. Hel will agree to release him only if every living being wept for him, and all did weep for him except for a frost-hearted Jotun named Tok, who is believed to have almost certainly been Loki in disguise. Being the true murderer of Baldur is not what finally put Loki in his bindings. After the death of Baldur, Aegir invited everyone to his home to forget their sadness. While there, Loki calls Bragi a coward and a poor man and also insults Idun, Gefjon, Odin, Frigg, Frey and Freya, Njord, Tyr, Heimdall, Skadi, and Sif. He was chased out of the palace by Thor afterwards. Palace? Is that the word I should have used? I don't know. He was chased out of Aegir's place by Thor. That's what matters here. Now, the binding of Loki is honestly one of the most interesting parts of Loki's mythology to me. What that says about me, no clue. Has to be something though. Before we get into the details of this, it should be mentioned that with his wife Sigyn, Loki fathered 2 children, Narfi and Vali. Narfi was torn to shreds by his brother Vali after Vali was turned into a ravenous wolf, which was part of the punishment for killing Baldur and consequently just insulting every single person at Aegir's place. It's Narfi and Vali's entrails that bind Loki to 3 rocks, with the serpent dripping venom placed above him, which was placed by Skadi. The serpent's venom drips into a bowl that is tended to by Sigyn. When the bowl fills, Sigyn must leave to empty it, and it's during this time that Loki gets the venom dripped onto him. This causes him to writhe in pain, and when Loki begins to writhe in pain, an earthquake occurs. Loki must remain bound to these 3 rocks until he breaks free, signaling the beginning of Ragnarok. There's actually another variation of this tale from Saxo Grammaticus's History of the Danes, where Thor comes across Utgard Loki, or Loki of the Utgard, who was bound in the same manner. Loki's punishment has been compared to the Greek myth of Prometheus, who was also bound to rock. Now that we know some of the mythology of Loki, we can begin to compare these myths to how he's portrayed in different forms of media. In this video, we'll be comparing the myths to the portrayals of Loki in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Magnus Chase Trilogy by Rick Riordan. Obviously, in both cases, creative liberties have been taken. That being said, Loki is very poorly portrayed in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For the sake of time and my lack of knowledge on the comics, we're only discussing the MCU. Sorry guys. There are only 3 similarities between Myth Loki and MCU Loki. It's his name, his mother, and the fact that he had no real allegiance. Also the fact that he was born to frost giants, so I guess 4. 2 glaring differences are that MCU Loki is Thor and Hel's brother, when in fact Loki is more like a step-uncle to Thor and Loki is Hel's father. Obviously at this point, we can only talk about the MCU up until Endgame, but maybe things will change once more movies come out and once the Loki series comes out on Disney+. But I highly doubt that Loki will become more accurate as the MCU expands. In contrast, Loki's portrayal in the Magnus Chase Trilogy by Rick Riordan is far closer to mythology. There aren't many things left out of the books from actual mythology. Rather, they're just myths that aren't fully told, such as neglecting what went down at Aegir's home and leaving out the attempt to bring Baldur back. The trilogy did keep Loki's gender fluidity, as he fathered Samira Alabas and mothered Alex Fierro. Alex Fierro is actually also gender fluid. The trilogy's portrayal of Loki also had him captaining the Naglfar, and kept true to the fact that Fenrir, Jormungand, and Hel are all his children. That is all for today's video. If you want to see a video about any of the figures mentioned in this video, please let me know in the comments below. In the description, you will find many links, including the link to my main channel. Whenever I decide to upload there, I have no such schedule, I just upload when I upload. There's also the link to my Instagram, which is momentarily private. That's not really relevant though. A link to the Tea House podcast, which features all the members of Demonic Discussions, and links to my own podcast, Storytime with Sammy, where I'm currently reading The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Episodes of that go up every Sunday and Wednesday and is available through Anchor, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Casts, and Radio Public. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you with the next episode of the Mythology Chronicles in 2 weeks. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!